Good day and welcome to today's preview of today's racing at Kenilworth, the 2nd of December. For those persons who are watching this video for the first time, I just want to quickly point out what Outsider Genie do. Outsider Genie does a form analysis, and through our form analysis, we then find outsiders that we give you as the punter to add with your numbers into your play. For instance, I had it yesterday. I tipped the outsider, and the outsider won. And one of my members took that outsider with his selection for the exacta, and he caught the exacta 20 times. We paid quite handsomely. So what we do is we give you the numbers, you add them with your numbers in whatever play that you fancy, because each punter has his own particular fancy. Now, we are available on YouTube. You can subscribe to the video. Just click subscribe, ring the bell. Also, you'll find us on social media, and our number is 0835855133. Then yesterday something happened. Excuse me for giving myself a pat on the back, but I did something which I've never done before. It was the first time in my life, and I think it will stay with me forever. And that is yesterday at Fairview. My selections won all 8 of 8 races. In the first race, I gave you fireworks. That was not hard to find, but still, that was my outright selection. Just quickly, how I work is I give an outright selection. That is the horse that I think will finish first, irrespective of the price of the horse. Then my other 2 selections are outsider selections in no particular order, but that's the 2 horses in a race, outsiders, that I think has got a good chance of either winning or placing, and you then add them to your play. Broadside, not hard to find, but also a winner. Then I gave you Lotus King at 5-1. That came home. I gave you ARION Express. That was second favorite when I tipped it, but eventually jumped at favorite at 33-10. Then I give you PALO ALTO, which was available at 10-1, 12-1 at the jump. MAGIIC SAILOR was also second or third favorite, but was made favorite at the jump at 33-10. Then I give you TALIA Al GHUL. After I've given you an explanation what the name means, I tip that as my outright selection. And then in race 8, I gave you Big Myth as an outsider selection. Also, our pick 6, that for a layout of 108 Rand, did come home, and it paid out 649 Rand. So all in all, truly a memorable day for Outsider Genie. You can subscribe to our form analysis every day for 500 Rand a month. You can WhatsApp that number, and I can send you the banking details if you want to subscribe. What you get is you get race by race selections, outright winner, and 2 possible outsider selections. 2 daily recommended, all to come doubles. And I must say, lately our doubles has started arriving sometimes at reasonable odds. Then you get value bets to play each way, normally 6-1. Yesterday, this horse, number 7, in race 7, TALIA Al GHUL was one of our value bets that came home. Then we give you best bets. We have given best bets as high as 7-1. We give you suggested trifectas and quartets. Yesterday in race 5, we gave you the quartet. It paid out nearly 1,200 Rand. And also affordable PA and pick sixes. You can play it as is, or you can change the numbers. And then also the same with the big 6, you can play it as is, or add onto it, or just use some of the numbers. When you subscribe, you'll be receiving the selections daily through a paid WhatsApp group, where you'll receive this form, and you'll get your race by race selections, pick 6, PA, trifecta, quartet, daily value bets, and then your doubles. You'll receive your doubles. So let's move on to today's racing. We are racing from Kenilworth, where we have 8 races on the card. All right, the first race is a meditated 94 handicap over 1600 meters. It's strange to see that they open up the meeting with such a race, but maybe they want to put, they were scared to put too many small fields in the pick six, so that's why maybe this is now race one. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is number 5, Ottoman Empire, 11 to 10, Pinkerton 5 to 2, Liberty Hall 28 to 10, 6 to 1 Captain Finders, 22 to 1 Rockin' Ringo, all lit up as scratching. Now, my first selection is number 2, Pinkerton. This horse has run in this class. This is an average rate, maiden rating 90, class B. This horse won in that class last time out, as you can see, and it's won also in a 92. Now, the favorite in this race, and guys, this is where I want you to be very careful of bookmakers. This is a nicely 3-year-old. But the problem with the 3-year-olds these days, I think the handicapper, and I have a lot of trainers that agrees with me, that the handicapper gives 3-year-olds a really stiff task, giving them such high. Already this horse is rating of a merit at 95. Here we have Pinkerton. He's got a merit of a 94. He's won 5 races. This horse knows how to race. So according to them, this horse is better than Pinkerton that has won 5 races. Now I want to show you something here, which I picked up. This horse ran on Kenilworth on a 1400 meters on the 24th of October. He won in a time of 86.35, carrying 57.5. Please note 86.35. Here's Ottoman Empire, who also won just about a week later on the 7th of November. You see the dates? The 24th of October, the 7th of November, so it's 2 weeks apart. Okay. And he won with 54 on his back with 89.7. That is 3 seconds slower than Pinkerton. And although Pinkerton is carrying a more weight, that weight that he's carrying more, that's 60, it's 5.5 kilograms more. It cannot make up for 3 seconds. This horse time out of the last 400 meters was 24 seconds, which was the fastest 400 to finish. Pinkerton, his time over the 1400 meters was 23.5. Here he's ran on a Durbanville 1250, carrying 57, 74.37, 22.1. Remember that 74.37. Here Durbanville 1250, 76.4, nearly 2 seconds slower. I don't say this horse cannot win Ottoman Empire, but I don't, I've been in racing a long time. You're having this 3-year-old running against a 4-year-old, only getting 5.5 kilograms, and Pinkerton, okay, in a handicap, it doesn't matter how many times you win, but what's significant to me is if you have got a horse that wins, this horse knows how to win. I mean, this horse ran behind Kildini. Kildini is a good horse in its own. So, yeah, I'm just saying, for me, number 2, Pinkerton, and it's currently 5 to 2. I think you should take that. You're not going to get that at a jump. My outsider selection is number 1, Liberty Hall, which also finished close behind Pinkerton in also a very good time, 86.35, and has been running against some good races in the Durban season, and I'm sure Liberty Hall will give a good account of himself in this race. Then we move to race number 2, which is a progress pace 1600 meters. Here the betting is as follows. 6 to 10 Golden Ducat, making his debut after a rest. 15 to 4 More Magic, 7 Gear 5 to 1. The Gatekeeper 11 to 2, 22 to 1 Silver Host, and scratch number 5 Cyber Law. Now, if you have a look here, Golden Ducat surely is the best weighted. And I think it's going to be hard to beat, but remember the horse is coming off a rest. And I think this be in mind, more magic can be a little bit more fitter. More magic is not a donkey, but obviously it will think it will take it will be difficult to beat Golden Duck if Golden Duck is on top of his game. And for the outside selection, can you just pop in number 3, Silver Host. This I think this is a nice horse. Has only had 9 runs, 3 wins already, and also I think ran behind Katak, which is not a donkey, and there it ran 5 lengths behind Golden Ducat at level weights. So I think this horse is not without the prayer in terms of placing. So put in your quartets and trifecta selection. And then number 6, Gatekeeper, is a nice dynasty colt, very well bred, has had 1 run, 1 easily, 5 for sure, 5 for sure, has 1 since, and then ran second to Comfort Zone. Also a horse that you can keep in mind can improve in this race and involved in the finish. So here we have our first maiden plate over 1600 meters, race 3. Let's have a look at the betting here. Race 3, number 3, Grand Vision. 13 to 10, Futures Hope 2 to 1, 9 to 2, Flying Grace, Brandy and Coke 12 to 1, Shot Over Jet 18 to 1, 18 to 1, Citadel 20 to 1, 28 to 1, and longer the race. Scratch number 1 and 7. Number 1, important scratching. That was a stablemate to the winner, and I was looking forward to this deal, but Salvatore, a very well-bred gelding, being withdrawn. And that leaves it with Grand Vision. I think Grand Vision will be too hard to beat in this field. Has been running on nicely, 23.2, 23.3, his last 2 races. I'm sure the 1600 meters will suit Grand Vision in my eyes. Definitely a very good thing. And for outsider selection, you can look at number 4, Shot Over Jet. Has improved in his last race, can improve more over again over the 1600 meters. And number 8, Flying Grace, a master of my fate. The master of my fates are winning left, right, and center these days. And with Greg Shane on board, also ran on nicely last time, 23.9. Fine, fastest 400 to finish. Also under upgrade, do include into your play. Then we move to race number 4, which is another plate and maiden plate for fillies and mares over 1600 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here we have number 5, Black Silver, 15 to 20, 22 to 10, Snow Dragon, Golden Dash, 13 to 2, 15 to 1, Noble's Point, 50 to 1, Lady Isabella, 40 to 1, and longer. Yeah, it looks like Justin Snape is going to have a good day today. Again, here we have the favorite, number 5, Black Silver. It's also a very, very, very extremely well-bred horse. And last time out over the 1400, we ran on 22.6, and before that 22.6 will be running on strongly, and I think hard to beat in this field as well. I've just got one outsider selection. Number 1, Noble Sport, Jeff Woodruff. I'm sure he will start finding his feet soon. Oscar Notes on board, drawn free, and I think will improve over this distance. Again, Kenilworth after the rest. Then we move down to race number 5, which is a 2,400 meters maiden plate. Let's have a look at the betting. Here we have another Justin Snape favorite, 11 to 10, 6 Hills Giant, Attorney General 15 to 10, Fly Over 6, 10 to 1, Orange Bitters 12 to 1, 14 to 1, Twilight Zone, The Summon 16 to 1, 53 to 1, Vision of Fame, scratch number 6, Wiley's Tractor. Now, in this race, I've seen in Cape Town, these 2,400 meters, they keep on throwing upsets. And I'm going here for the outsider number 3, Orange Bitters. And this horse has been placed over 2,400. I think he's looking for the distance. The dam is Sangira Girl. She won, I think, a grade 3 or a grade 2 over a longer distance, won a Durban season. Very good horse. And I think if this horse takes to his mother, Orange Bitters will be there when the photos are taking. I don't know what, last time out, you can ignore the horse had a saddle slip, so you can ignore that run. And I'm sure the 1400 meters will suit this. Ron Carty has upset the favorites from the same stable on various occasions. So I'm looking for number 3, Orange Bitters, here to cause an upset. Outsider selections that you can look at is number 5, Fly Over. I think this Flying the Flag by Silvana will also improve over this distance. Keep an eye on that. And number 8, The Summons. Also, it's filly, getting a little bit weight off. Has been there in the other rounds, and I'm thinking the 2,400 will also be to a liking. A second last run, you can ignore the jockey lost his stirrup, so you can ignore that run. And I think that this horse can also be involved in a finish in this race. Yes, we have the favorites here: Six Hill Grant, Six Hill Dynasty, a dynasty by Taylor the Cat Me, has improved over the 69 meters last time, can improve further, but definitely not on the odds. I'm not my money on the odds it's currently on. And Attorney General also improved. Aldo de Meyer can also be involved in the finish after improving last time behind Let's Boogie Baby. So let's move on to race number 6, where we have Progress Race, Class A, 104, Progress Plate. Here, race 6, the favorite is number Tempting Fate, 5-2, Speed Machine, 5-2, Invincible, 28-10, 9-1, Comedy Dun, 10-1, Sus Jeff, 14-1, Pleased to Meet You, 14-1, Russian Rock, 14-1, King of James, and Joseph Barry, 14-1. Now I did my selections, and after I did my selections, I looked at the best weighted. Now I'll explain to you now. But first of all, I want to touch on the favorite. You need to be very careful with the Dennis Bryan stable. On Saturday, I had this horse Pray for Rain, which was a hard favorite, and I think this horse is going to walk in. The horse finished second last because it seemed to me that the Dennis Dreyer runners are probably going to need the run. So I'll be very, very careful to rush over and take the 5-2 currently available on this horse. You might just burn your fingers. Now, my selection in this race is number 8, Joseph Barry. Now, this horse only carrying 54, very rating for Russell or for Marshall, very underrated jockey. Now, if you have a look here, this horse ran against the best, Eric the Red. I think any horse that can run under 1 length to Eric the Red must surely have some ability. Then this horse finished behind Tempting Fate, 1.9. Okay, and both of them were carrying 58. Now today, Joseph Barry is carrying 54.5, and Tempting Fate is carrying 61. Now, surely my calculation mean the 61 to 54 is 6.5 kilogram for a beating of 1.9 lengths. All right, there it was beaten 6 lengths, but again, at level weights. And last time out, I think this was the 1400 meters were just too far. They should have never run him, but it should have brought him on. So, in my eyes, Joseph Barry is a huge runner. And then I found out, to my amazement, the horse is 14-1. Then, after I did that, I had a quick look just to see what does the best weighted say. Now, King of James and Saint Jeff are the best weighted, but they are probably having runs. They're long distance horses. The 1,200 meter will be too short. So the first one was Pleased to Meet You, which is also one of my outsider selections, which I will discuss now. And here the second best weighted was Joseph Barry, above Tempting Fate. So my selection, I'll stick with Joseph Barry. And then Pleased to Meet You, Aldo de Meyer. This horse has run against some huge runners in the past. He's no donkey. Has won, I know it's won a small future, but ran against top horses, One World, Russian Air. This horse is no donkey. Then ran at Scottsville, even though it ran a little bit behind. But it's horses here with huge racings. So Pleased to Meet You, definitely a horse that you need to include into your play in your quartet selections. Then also in this race, number 5, sorry, Speed Machine. Also a horse that has won 2 races, and I really think that this horse you need to include also in your play. So let's move on to race number 6. Sorry, race number 7. Oh yeah, this is the horse I'm looking for. Race 6, my other outsider selection was number 9, Russian Rock. This horse ran some nicely races, also behind Speed Machine, and I think number 9, Russian Rock, you can include into your quartet selections. Now I'm going to move on to race number 7. So I just got confused a little bit there. Merit rated 89 handicap over 1950. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is number 3, St. Michael 22 to 10, Black Knap 5 to 2, Southern Star 33 to 10, 33 to 10, Fort Agopian, Cane Lion and Soda 10 to 1, 16 to 1, and better the rest. Now I looked at the form here, and for me, this St. Michael form is okay, but it's not eye-popping form. And the horse can win. I'm not saying it's well-bred. King's Barnes, definitely in a huge chance. Has run against some decent positions, but the horse that I favor in this race is number 4, Southern Star. It's ridden by Carty. Carty has ridden this horse 5 times, 3 wins and a second. And this horse keep on running there and thereabouts. And I'm sure Ford Agopian is not going to beat this horse today by 6 lengths. I'm relatively sure about that. And he's also up in weight. That's now carrying 52 against Southern Star's 54. So there's only 2 kilograms where there was 8 kilograms before. And I think my choice, number 4, Southern Star. Outsider selections, number 1, Man About Town. Also a horse that runs always running on. Thereabouts has run against some strong opposition. Definitely a horse you want to include in your quartets. And my other outsider selection is number 7, August Leaf. Getting the -2.5, carrying nothing, can also upset. Has 1 course and distance, 1 run, 1 winner, so likes the distance. Second last run, there's a lot the jockey, so you can ignore that. But otherwise, always a horse that is there and thereabouts. Then we go to race number 8, which is a merit rated 76 handicap, class D, 72 over 90.50. Here's race 8, and here my selections are, the betting is as follows: half and half, 9 to 2, Silver Sky 5 to 1, Warrior Bling 4 to 1. Oh, they're both now 9 to 2. Night Song 9 to 2, Let's Boogie Baby 6 to 1, Alfred's Digger 8 to 1, and longer the rest. So here my first selection is number 3. The stable companion to number 1, half and half, who's got markers on board, but my selection is number 3, a Silvano by Jetmaster Me. I really love that breeding, and I think this horse has been running well, and I do think Silver Sky today can land up in the number 1 box. My outsider selection is number 5, Night Song. This horse is running well, is always involved in a finish, cannot be discarded. Greg Shane has had 6 runs, 2 wins, and 3 seconds on his horse. Definitely likes the horse likes the jockey likes the horse. They like each other, and they can be involved in the finish. Here we have my other outsider selection, number 9, Top Rank. I'm looking for Top Rank, this ex-Gauteng horse, to start improving. Last time out, he did improve, and I think the longer distances will definitely suit him. So keep an eye out for number 9, Top Rank. So that brings us to the end of our preview. I hope I can point you in the direction of a few winners. And as I always say, break